Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. We'll get started in just a moment as we let some people get logged in and get settled here. But if you can hear this and you're willing to share, please drop who you are and maybe where you're from in the comments. Good morning. If you're up to it, please drop your name and where you're from in the comments. We'd love to know who's joining us today. Sarah and Cynthia, I should introduce you to. You probably have a lot to talk about. Awesome. Fun watching the names and locations roll in from all over the country. That's great. Let's do a slow roll. We'll get things going. We'll get to the meat of everything in a second. But Katie, you want to pop into the next slide? I should acknowledge Katie, our operations director here at WideFocus, and kind of the glue that sticks everything together for us, is also our producer. She's been working on our webinars from the beginning, and she's behind the scenes doing all the heavy lifting. So special moment of gratitude for Katie for handling all that. Good morning, happy Thursday, or good afternoon, wherever you may be. Quick introduction, I'm Eric. I own WideFocus Social Media. We're based in Denver, but we work with clients all over the country. We focus solely on social media. What that means is we manage content strategy. We do organic posting, which is making sure we're posting high quality, consistent content to the appropriate channels for your key target audiences and your goals. And we also do paid social campaigns that really drive those numbers and improve the metrics that matter to our clients. Everything from increasing visibility and awareness to generating more website traffic, driving leads. And we work with clients, all kinds of clients across multiple industries. We love working with B2B clients, whether it's service, tech, SaaS. We know how to get you in front of your key economic decision makers. But on the B2C side, we have worked for years with B2B or B2C, health and wellness, supplements, e-commerce, home products and services. With home services, we know how to make the phone ring. This is all a way of saying that since 2007, 18 years now, because our focus has only been on social, we've always had the joy and the honor of teaming up with agencies who provide the services we don't. And one of our biggest areas of focus is home builders and master plan community developers. It has been since almost the beginning, way back in 2007. And almost since then, for about a dozen years now, one of our co-agencies for some major clients in Denver and beyond has been 5-Weight Digital Strategies. They are an amazing company. We have worked super closely with them to support clients, mutual clients, for, like I said, almost a dozen years now. Zach on their team is going to be presenting today, and he's going to provide you some more details about what they do. But he is and I'm going to tell you a little story in a minute. He is the real reason that we are so focused on AIO right now. And that's part of the reason we have him joining us with his insights. So speaking of joining us, Zach will be joining in a few minutes. He, as I mentioned, is an SEO specialist and um, in charge of digital marketing at 5-Weight. Also, just someone we love working with. And then we have Jenna from our team. Jenna is one of our dedicated community managers, an amazing human. She has been uh, leading the team on AIO optimization for our social content and also for blog posts. She has a keen eye for B2B social as well. So she's been a real provider for our clients and honestly for our team. So they are both awesome experts, and I'm really excited to have them lead the show today. But before they get started, very quickly, here's what we're going to do today. We're going to start out with Zach. He's going to talk about what AI optimization is and why it matters for businesses. It's so important. I can't overstate, I think, how important AIO is right now, probably the most important thing in marketing. Then Jen is going to come in and provide some very specific, super easy to deploy strategies, things that are going to be worthwhile for you to look at and things you could probably do right away to improve the AI visibility for your brands. And then Zach's going to come back, tie it all together, talk a little bit about how to look for success. I'm going to come in and give you a quick assignment, and then we'll open it up to Q&A. That said, if you have a question along the way, please drop it in there. If we can answer it in context, we will. If not, we'll answer them all at the end. All right, so I want to tell you why we're all here today, because it's still sort of mind-blowing for me. Early in the summer, maybe late in the spring, we were on a call with Zach and Matt from 5-Weight, talking to a mutual client. It was a master plan community developer. And we had already, as a team on our side, realized that it was time to talk to this client about potentially adding blog posts to their content mix to increase reasons to click to their website and to build more visibility for their brand. And before we even had a chance to talk about that, while Matt and Zach on their team were talking about their metrics and how things were going on SEO and digital strategy and some of the paid media aspects, Zach literally brought up the importance of adding blog posts and strong content for AIO. Basically, what he said was people aren't searching Google with a couple quick, words and key and search phrases anymore. They're putting in entire sentences asking for very specific answers. And he said, if your website isn't providing those answers in a way that AI crawlers can't understand, and if your social isn't aligned with those answers because AI crawlers are also indexing social, then you're not going to be seen by your clients. We've always known that SEO and social worked really well together, and traditional SEO partners have been great for us because they help us understand what words and phrases and things clients need to be seen and to index better on SEO. But this was mind-blowing because he made it very clear that your website content and your social media are now more important than ever in being seen. I thought that was really interesting, and literally 2 days later, a new prospect, we got on a call, in a discovery call, and I said, how did you find us? And he said, ChatGPT, we are looking for the best social media agencies for what we need. A week later, another potential client came on, and I was talking about AIO, and she said, oh yeah, we know about AIO. That's how we found you on chat. So whether you're in B2B, B2C, it's where SEO and social were kind of working together. Now the two of them are essential in being to be seen. I could see the importance of it right away, but it took a while to figure out how to present that and how to make sure that we were handling that for our clients. And along that way, as we were working on that and creating resources, we do have an AIO resource. If you'd like to download it, we can share that later. We realized that this is going to be more and more important, and it's a huge opportunity for brands to get ahead of the game. So enough of my yakking, as Marty DeBerge would say. Let's turn it over to our good friend Zach, who's going to introduce the concept of AIO. Take it away, Zach.
Thanks, Eric. I appreciate that. That was a very kind introduction. I'm very grateful to have even been invited on this webinar, so thank you for that. Thank you, Katie, in the background, for handling all the technical stuff. You guys are awesome. Like Eric said, we have been working with WideFoc.us for about a dozen years now. Our company started in 2008. My father started it, and then I've had the pleasure of working alongside him since 2012, mostly focused on SEO and, like Eric said, digital strategy type stuff. So we work with a lot of home builders, land developers, master plan community developers, as well as several different industries, but that's sort of our bread and butter. But we've had the pleasure of working with WideFoc.us on quite a few different accounts. But really in the last year, it's I've gotten to work with them a lot more, and it's been an absolute pleasure. So once again, thank you guys for putting on this webinar and inviting me. With that, I'm going to dive into what AIO is and why does it really matter for your business. And to do that, I'm going to start with a little bit of a story. So imagine you're a homeowner in Littleton, Colorado. You wake up and you jump in the shower and there's no hot water. What do? Well, for the past 20 years, you would go to Google, and even now, type something like plumber near me. That's not going away anytime soon. And what Google would do, and Google still does, is they'll provide you with a long list of options to research yourself. But here's what's changing. More and more people are going to ChatGPT and asking specific questions like, my water heater is out. Can you find me the best plumber in Littleton to fix it? Or they might even go even more vague, something that Google wouldn't in the past have been able to understand, like my water heater is out. Who do I call? And the difference here is that AI and Google do things a little bit differently. Google provides an option of a list of resources for you to research yourself, but AI, it goes out, it does all the research, it does all the comparisons, filtering, it scans reviews, it analyzes social profiles, it checks websites, directories, and it analyzes all the trust signals out there. And in a matter of seconds, what would have taken us, the searcher, hours or maybe even days to do, it can do in a matter of seconds, and it spits out a short list, a list of 2 or 3 of the best options for you of recommended plumbers it believes are the best for fixing or replacing a water heater in Littleton, Colorado. Not just the best plumber, not just the plumber with the fastest website or the most reviews or the most Instagram followers. And don't get me wrong, all of those things matter. They all still matter, but it's the best plumber across all available platforms and websites that AI can analyze that consistently exhibits the highest level of expertise, trustworthiness, and likelihood to deliver the best outcome for the user's specific needs that they need to solve right then. The user doesn't have to click through 25 different sites or wonder who's legit anymore. ChatGPT or other AI tools just narrow it down and back up their recommendations with proof. And like it or not, people are trusting ChatGPT more and more. So when they get a good recommendation or when they get a recommendation from ChatGPT, they take it. And if you're not on that list, you don't even get a chance. It's not like Google where there's 10 different options. And even if you're the 10th, you might get a little scrap at the end. You know, if you're not in the recommendation in AI, then you are absolutely invisible. Your competitor gets the call, they win the customer, and they earn the repeat business because people trust ChatGPT just about as much as they trust a close friend giving them a recommendation. So the question that we all have is, how do you get your business to show up in an AI recommendation? And the answer is AIO, artificial intelligence optimization. And it's just the strategic process of proving online that you do what you say you do, where you claim to do it, and that you do it better than your competitors. With the goal, hang on, Katie, I think we might be on the next slide. Sorry. There we go. Yeah. The goal is to get ChatGPT and other AI tools to recommend your business for the specific solutions you provide. And this is the important part, when the buyers are ready to act. So not just when they initially encounter the problem, but when they are ready to actually act on the problem and solve the problem that they're having. So how do you structure your content and optimize your content for AI visibility? And for that, that's a really good question. For that, I'm going to turn it over to Jenna, who is our content expert.
Thank you so much, Zach. And thanks for setting the stage on how AI searches are really becoming the new SEO. But some things I did want to dive deeper into is how to actually focus on the practical side of things. So, how can you actually optimize blog posts and social posts that actually get surfaced by AI tools when people are asking those questions? Because, like Zach said, with AI tools, people are asking questions. And right now, the reality is that buyers today aren't really moving through a clean linear funnel like they used to. They're doing their own research, they're typing those questions into AI tools like ChatGPT, they're scanning those articles that AI is giving them, and they're scrolling through social feeds too, which also AI recommends as well. So by the time they reach out to a company, they're already really deep into that evaluation stage. And that means the content that you publish has to do the heavy lifting of educating, guiding, and also building trust with any direct contact as well. So really the three big things is you want to educate, guide, and build trust with that AI content as well. Because the big thing is there's a shift because there's so much discovery happening through AI. Your content can't just rely on keywords and rankings. It really needs to match the way people are naturally phrasing their questions. So if your content isn't structured and genuinely helpful, AI tools won't pick it up and present your brand as a credible answer. Like Zach said before, people are asking either super specific questions or super vague questions. And sometimes Google can't pick that up, but AI definitely can. So when you start to create that content, you're really going to want to frame the positioning around those questions and how to answer them in your content. And that kind of gets into like where the actual tactics come in. And the best thing to do is to start building content directly around the questions people are asking during the research and evaluation stages. So using those real world questions as your headlines and even H2s, really what you want to do is answer the question as quickly as possible, or even at the top of content. So whether that's a blog post or a social post, you're going to want to answer the question right away. And you can do that with, again, headlines or H2s. But a really big thing too is to keep the paragraphs short, maybe have them at 2 or 3 sentences at most. And you're always going to want to answer the question right at the top of that piece of content. And of course, you can provide deeper context below. So maybe you have a headline, a few sentences that answer the question. But if you want to go deeper into context, again, that might build that trust and credibility. That's definitely a great way to use that long form content in blog posts as well. Because you want AI tools to grab the key takeaway immediately. So you don't want a blog post that has all these long sentences and all this jargon and buzzwords. And if you find it hard to read, and humans might find it hard to read, AI is definitely going to have a hard time to read it too. So that's kind of a framework you can think of when you start building out that content as well. And another takeaway with formatting your content is breaking things up with bold text, lists, even bullets too to highlight important points, and really use clear conversational language that will mirror how your audience is actually asking those questions on AI as well. Because again, if you think about it, if you can't read it and it's hard for you to read, how is AI going to read it? It's probably not going to be read or found on AI, which is really, really important because buyers are looking to get answers immediately and easily on AI. But in the next slide, we'll look at actually how to practice comparing unoptimized content and optimized content. So what does that look like? Obviously, unoptimized content is really vague. So it hides the value of what you're putting out there inside, again, long walls of text. And it leans heavily on vagueness, buzzwords, jargon words, abstract phrasing. Because if someone lands on that piece of content and they're not immediately getting the answer, they don't want to look at it. Neither does AI. So you have to make the reader easily find that answer rather than making them work to find the actual point. And again, that's kind of the same thing that AI is doing too. If you're not making the content as easy and digestible as possible, AI won't be picking it up. And with that, optimized content starts with the answer. Again, using formatting to guide the reader, making every line clear, relevant, and super easy to follow. And you can kind of think about real questions your audience might be asking. And again, Zach did a great job of providing some examples. So maybe an example of someone might asking something on, say, ChatGPT. What's the difference between a master plan community and an established neighborhood? That exact phrasing can come in a blog post. So having those questions immediately answered in a blog post. Or someone else might ask, how do I know if it's time to replace my furnace or just repair it? That can be a blog post and a social post too. Because any social media marketer knows that it's not just one piece of content that's going out. You have a blog post where you have more of a longer form content, but again, it's super easy to read and it's digestible. And then you have a short form content like a social media post, whether that's LinkedIn or Instagram. And it's really easy to digest that information because it's visual and engaging. And we'll walk through that in some specific examples. But when your content mirrors real world questions, AI tools are way more likely to surface it. And the big thing is it's beyond visibility, but it's also creating trust too. So when you're providing direct, accessible answers, you're also establishing your brand as approachable and authoritative, and it can actually help shorten the research cycle instead of people having to jump between sources on, say, Google. They're not getting a clear answer, and people are more confident in AI answers as well, which Zach mentioned before. And some really good examples I do have on the screen here is one of the clients we have, which is a home services blog snippet here. And it gives clear, actionable tips on what someone might ask into ChatGPT. So, like, how can I lower my energy bill this winter? Specific questions like that. So instead of having this long intro paragraph about, say, winter in Denver or something like that, not getting to the point right away, you're going to lose AI interest and human interest as well. And you can see here that we have specific headlines, and even with the text underneath it, it's really no more than 2 or 3 lines at most. So it's really easy to read, and AI can grab those key points instantly and answer those questions when people are asking those in an AI search. But it's not just blogs as well, like I said before. It also applies to social content too. So imagine, again, someone goes into ChatGPT and it says, a question like today, how can I make sure my brand shows up in search results? That's the exact kind of question that you can turn into, say, a LinkedIn or Instagram post as well. And even what I found in my own social media content creation is that carousel posts work really well for this. Because if you think about it, okay, I have a blog post and I'm writing a lot of information on there, but I want to make it super digestible. That's really great for a social media post, even for a carousel post, because you're actively engaging people. They're scrolling through visually engaging pictures, but it's bite-sized information and bite-sized content that people can actually read and digest. And of course, any social media manager knows a good CTA is always paired with that. So maybe that goes to a blog post or a lead magnet for B2B decision makers. It's really about, content discovery at that point too. And even with this, the same framework really is effective with B2B marketing too, because, for example, where decision makers are constantly evaluating solutions, they don't want to dig through long narratives. They want the clear path to solving their problems right away. So when you're putting the solution first, simplifying processes and driving growth, you're positioning your content as a direct answer for someone's needs. And from there, deeper context and supporting resources, say like case studies, lead magnet guides, or even webinars like today, for example, it really reinforces the value and it makes it easier to get that information across as well. So when you become that trusted advisor, you're also becoming more visible in AI tools as well. And with that, we'll head to the next slide. And we'll kind of talk about here the relationship between SEO, social, and AIO here. So really, when you think about it, once you've aligned your content with those real questions that people are asking, the next step is to make sure that it works across SEO, social, and AIO, which is, again, AI optimization, because SEO still lays the foundation because it still informs priorities, it still guides your copy, and it does ensure your blog posts are structured in the way that search engines can index. And then you have on top of that social, which reflects all those priorities by breaking down your longer form content into shorter, bite-sized, engaging posts that not only get your ideas in front of the right audience, but it's where they already spend their time, and it also extends the reach of your content as well. And that's really where AIO comes in, which is essentially the synthesis between SEO and social. So this is really about structuring your content in a way that's, again, easy for AI tools to interpret, using the plain language, clear formatting, and step-by-step explanations that allow AI tools to extract those insights and then resurface them into answers to people's questions, because people are asking questions on AI tools. So when SEO, social, and AIO work together, your content has a much better chance of being both found and trusted. So every question you capture and answer is just another opportunity for AI to bring your brand into the conversation and another chance to guide a potential customer towards choosing you. With that, I will hand it to Zach to dive deeper into the technical side.
Thanks, Jenna. Okay, so if we're going to bring this all together, how do you actually implement AIO, or just like what's sort of the general idea around implementing it? So AI and search engines are constantly asking things like, can we trust this business? Do they really do what they say they do? Are they the best option for this user's specific need, not just the best option for generalities, right? And the only way they're going to answer yes is if you show consistent proof across more than just one or two platforms that you're the best option to recommend. They're looking for consistent proof across your website, reviews, directories, social content, and so much more. The goal with AIO is to build a body of proof big enough that it convinces AI that you're not just another option, but that you're the obvious choice. And this is what's changing the way companies do business, because search engines are where people and AI actually go to do a lot of their research. But AI, by the time someone's there, they're in a lot of cases ready to make a decision. They're going for their final that final point where they just need to make a decision, and AI is going to help them do that. And if you've built your body of proof through AI or through AIO, you'll do more than just show up. You'll get recommended. And once you're recommended, it's incredibly difficult for your competitors to dislodge you because of the amount of work that goes into getting you to that point. So how do you actually build this body of proof? It comes down to 4 key areas that at least I've observed, and I call them the 4 pillars of AIO. So the first pillar is proximity signals, and this applies mostly to local businesses or businesses that only serve a specific area. Proximity isn't just about your business's physical location, though. It's about convincing AI that you exist in and serve a specific area, and even the neighborhoods inside of it specifically. So you can think of Google and AI kind of like a detective building a case file, right? The more evidence that they see that you serve a location, the more likely you are to show up or be recommended. So a few ways that you can do this, just simple ways. So you can embed references in your website and social content whenever possible, like landmarks, schools, neighborhood names, local restaurants, things like that. Things that really do prove that you know the area and that you serve the area. Just remember that AI favors specifics over vague city or metro area claims. So if you type in if you're asking AI to give you the best plumber for your specific neighborhood, and you specifically have talked about that neighborhood on your website or your social or through social media in some form or fashion, then you are more likely to be recommended for that area than someone who has just been talking about the overall city or metro area. So it's important to be very specific with AI because it does get that granular. Pillar number 2 is relevance signals. So relevance is about proving you solve the specific problems that customers are searching for. And the mistake that I see most is websites and social profiles that never really go beyond the basics. So they'll have one generic homepage and a list of general services or general products or whatever offerings they have. They don't really go in depth and take it one step further. So social posts that never go deeper than plumbing services, for example, or Littleton's best CPA, right? Those are sort of general terms, but they're not the specifics. They're very, very generic. So if a homeowner asks ChatGPT or any of the other AI tools, AI platforms, who fixes tankless water heaters in Littleton, but your website doesn't explicitly say that you do that, and your social profiles don't back it up, then I can pretty much guarantee that you won't be recommended. So don't be generic. First and foremost, be specific about what you do and prove it. Create content about every product or service you provide, starting, I recommend, with the most profitable, popular or just the area of expertise that you really want to focus on, and then expand from there. And one of the pro tips is to make sure your relevant signals align across every single platform. So this is really important. If you mention a product or service on your website, be sure to talk about that same thing on social. Be sure to mention that same service in responses to reviews. When people are leaving reviews, that's a great place to add relevance and proximity signals, because you can say things like, well, we were really happy to, to stick with the plumber example, we were really happy to provide a tankless water heater to one of our Littleton, Colorado neighbors, something like that. That's a great way to it's a great area where you can insert some proximity and relevant signals. And just whatever you do, no matter where you are, just try to be consistent everywhere. Talk about the same things across every platform as often as you can. So pillar number 3 is reputation signals. And reputation, this is really, really important to understand. Reputation is not about what you say about yourself. It's what other people say about you online. And when it comes to SEO and AI, both Google and AI value your reputation, what other people are saying about you, as much, probably more than what you say about yourself. So yes, you need to have an excellent content strategy, but you also need to do really good work, get good reviews, and get people talking about you in a positive way online. And one thing that I want to make clear here is this is not just about star ratings. It's also about patterns. When it comes to AI, it's not just, oh, they have the most 5-star reviews. It's, oh, these reviews keep mentioning fast response time, excellent customer service, always answers the phone, fair price. Those are the powerful signals that AI relies on and uses as proof when recommending you for specific situations. So like, for instance, a review that says great job, it's just not going to move the needle very much. But something like XYZ plumber replaced our water heater in under 3 hours, showed up on time, explained everything clearly, and did it for a really fair price. Highly recommend. That's gold. That's reputation gold. And that's the proof. That's the reputation proof that you say that you do what you say you do and that you do it well. So beyond reviews, if AI is looking at social profiles like Facebook, Instagram, Nextdoor, forums, and sees people talking and interacting with your business, that's a strong reputation signal, and that you're interacting with them back. That makes you more likely to get recommended. And then the 4th pillar is trust signals. So trust is the tiebreaker, and it's a little bit nuanced because reputation and trust can kind of get, they kind of overlap a little bit, but trust signals are more like, does AI trust you? So when two businesses look equal in proximity, relevance, and reputation, trust decides who wins. So in general, Google looks for technical trust signals like HTTPS, mobile speed, licenses and insurance proof on your website, consistent contact information across various platforms, strong reviews, years in business, authoritative backlinks. Those have been sort of the traditional SEO trust signals. But AI goes further. It cross-references everything about you online. It makes sure you appear the same, not just like your address, phone number, and not just the technical things, but are people saying the same kind of things about you everywhere? Do you have reviews across multiple platforms, and are those saying similar things? Are you active and engaged with your customers? Do people interact with your posts, and do you interact back? Are you a trustworthy source for them to recommend? The way I think about it is, are you going to make AI look good if they recommend you? So this isn't necessarily trust with the customer, but this is trust with AI platforms. So if Google, think about it like this, if Google checks your ID, AI is going out there and asking your neighbors, they're asking your old roommates, they're asking family and friends if you're trustworthy. So that's what you need to prove online. And that's why trust signals matter so much. They're not just decoration. They're what tip the scales in your favor when AI models are deciding who gets recommended. So we're going to hop to the next slide here and talk about why professional expertise is critical for staying ahead. So today, Google and AI, they both analyze your entire digital footprint. And especially, Google has Gemini, which is an AI platform. So they have that extra step. They have that extra thing. So if someone's going to Google, they might get served Google results and Gemini results. So when I say ChatGPT, you can just sort of assume that I'm talking about all AI platforms, including Gemini. But they don't just look at your website. They look at what people are saying about you, what you're posting. They check to see if your online presence is cohesive and consistent everywhere. And so how does this apply within the context of SEO blog posts and social content? Well, everything you do online is a signal to AI that you're either worth recommending or you're not. It's weighing tons of proof points, like we've talked about: website content, reviews, directories, blog content, social content, activity, and above all, consistency of information across all platforms in the things that you're saying about yourself and the things that people are saying about your business. So the big takeaway, and I think we can go to one more slide here. Oh, no, back to the other slide. That's not mine. All right. It's no longer enough to just optimize your website for generic search phrases. That's the old way of thinking. Today, you need to get specific about what you do, who you do it for, where you do it, and how well you do it. And you need to prove it across search engines and any social profiles you have, or any form of content that you can put out there. You need to prove it. By optimizing for AI through a combination of SEO and social, you're not just keeping pace. You are building a moat around your business that is going to be very difficult for your competitors to conquer, because it is a lot of work. It's difficult. It's not something that most businesses know how to do or can do effectively on their own. It requires technical SEO expertise. It requires social expertise to not only do this right, and it requires strategy to make sure both are aligning really, really well across all platforms. But the good news is that most companies don't know this stuff yet. Most companies aren't even investing in SEO or social at all. Many of them just kind of are flying by the seat of their pants. Other companies are dabbling. They might not have any strategy, and very few are actually aligned on both. And the ones that are aligned on both are winning right now, and they're going to be winning for the next couple of years at least. But that means that right now you do have a good opportunity to be the one that shows up, to be the company that gets recommended, not to be the one that's invisible. And if you want to win that recommendation, you've got to focus right now on AIO. That's the formula. And the companies that are focused and aligned on AIO across all platforms, they're the ones that are going to own the market tomorrow. So that's the end of my spiel, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Eric now for some final recap.
That's awesome, Zach and Jenna. Thank you. So insightful, really interesting, real world examples and stuff you can do right now. I want to quickly address Matt and Andrew's comments in the chat. Thank you both for being engaged. I know you guys are both real experts in the field, so we're honored to have you on. Matt wanted to ask about AI search performance with AI created content versus human. And Andrew brought up the speed and volume that AI content creation does provide. I'm not going to naysay using AI to create content. What I will, because it is emerging, and honestly, at WideFoc.us, we oftentimes use AI with the right prompts for the first draft. Once we've provided some clear strategy, and honestly, we have a list, a checklist of things to look for with any AI generated content to make sure that we're catching it, because AI it's still crappy writing, and there's no strategy involved. So it can be good for knocking out a lot of quick content, but you still have to go through it really carefully. You have to make sure it's accurate. You want to make sure it's not using the same cadences over and over and over again, from this to this to this, or here's what actually works. Like, all that stuff is still coming up on AI generated content. So you can lean on it, but I wouldn't depend on it. So that's my little diatribe. We know that AI content creation is going to improve production speed and save money in that way. But I would say, and obviously I'm a writer, so I'm saying this not as someone who is naysaying AI, but as someone who appreciates the craft of writing, but also who has been working with this for some time now. And you still need professional strategy to know what to write and what to prompt. You still need a strong copy editor to make sure that whatever content's being spit out by AI is actually accurate and well written and compelling, because it's not just AI that's reading it, it's actual humans. And when humans see your content and it feels clunky and synthetic, even if it's interesting to them, or worthwhile to them, they may not stick with it because it just feels awkward. There's that uncanny valley still there. Is that going to be the way it is forever? Who knows? But that's where it is now. So, quick summary. We know, and honestly, at WideFoc.us, we have literally seen AI, AIO serve us on the B2B side of getting more clients through the door, and getting more leads. So, and we are definitely seeing it with our clients, both on the B2B and B2C side, that they're showing up more at the summaries, at the top of Google, in ChatGPT, in some of these other channels as well. So what that means is AI, SEO and social always, they've always been best working together. Now they are 100% aligned, intertwined, and essential. We talk to Zach and our other SEO partners all the time about what are they trying to, what is the search volumes they're looking for? What are key questions people are asking? What are our clients in their digital strategy side? What are their key differentiators? What do they want to be known for? We talk to our clients about this as well, obviously. But like a great example is with one of our home services companies, we go through the blog posts that we want to write with the SEO team to make sure they're aligned with their goals. And then even the social posts are also aligned. So Wonder Twin Powers activate. It's pretty awesome. What that means is you need to shape your website content, your social, your blog post, any place where you're going to interact online with AI crawlers and your actual customers. You want to make sure that they are all doing these things that we've talked about. The question is, can you do it all? Maybe you can, and kudos to you. But if you can't, this is a good place to ask for help. Obviously, we would love to help you out, and I know the folks at 5Weight would love to as well. We're not going to push sales here, but really think about where you can best use your time and where you can farm out the stuff that might require more strategy or more just consistency than you might have the resources for. All right, so speaking of all of that, I have a quick assignment for you because thank you. It only says LinkedIn user, unfortunately. Thank you, Ever said. So much great content and guidance here. It's a lot. So what I would like you to do, and I always do this when I go to a seminar on a webinar, if you have a pencil and paper nearby, or you can pull up, something to type into. First, we would love for you to just write down, take note of 2 things you found useful today. Just start with 2 things that you went, oh, damn, or aha, or I need to do something about this. Write those 2 things down. And because we're coming up to time, I'm not gonna I'm asking you to do this. Usually I would wait and make you do it. The second thing is write down one thing, like literally just one thing you can do when you get off this call today that's gonna push things forward even a little bit. Something that's actionable, something that has some impact, honestly, something that you'll do. Like, don't write something down that you're gonna look at it in 15 minutes or an hour and be like, oof, I don't know what I was thinking. Like, you know yourself, write down something you can absolutely do, even if it's like schedule a meeting with one of us or schedule a call with someone else, or pull in your marketing manager and talk through what you can do next. That's like a good actionable next step. If you're feeling motivated, let's also write 2 things after that you can do, maybe 3 steps that you can take today through the end of tomorrow before the weekend to really get things rolling. Because if you walk away from this and be like, whoa, that's a lot, but you don't have a plan for the next step, then it's going to be rolling around in your brain, but you may not execute on it. So I highly recommend you write something down today and commit to doing it. And someone wrote, simplifying processes and helping the customers find your brand as a trusted advisor. That's awesome. Now break that down into what's the first step of how you're going to help do that. Okay, so it was a lot, super dense. Obviously, we want to help. And so here's some, here's our contact info. There's Zach's and there's mine. We're just, even if you just have some questions, honestly, like obviously we would love to get you on a discovery call. And if you're a brand who needs social, we want to help. And I know Zach and Matt and their team feel the same way, even just to talk about what your needs might be and see if it's a fit. That's great. But also, like, you just have a question, please send me an email. If you want to follow up from this call and just be like, hey, I noticed this. Can you tell me more about this? We'd love to get your business, but more importantly, this is just so important and we want companies to be successful. And so we're all pretty generous with our time, even if you're not a potential client, because we want to be out there supporting and doing good work. So, and doing good things. So if you're around and you have questions, why don't you pop them into the chat and we'll start addressing them. And if you don't, that's okay too. It was a lot. Hey, Zach, Matt did have a question, which is, it's a curious one. He said, I'm curious if AI search prefers AI-driven content or human.
Yeah, for that, I would honestly say it it depends on how good the content is, right? So is there something unique about it? The thing that I've found is that content that is strictly AI was trained on the things that are already on the internet. And so it's not really putting out any new useful information. So there's not a new unique spin on it in most cases. Obviously, AI is getting better. If there's, it also kind of depends on competition. So if there's a lot of competition for a search phrase, obviously the most unique and the highest value content is going to receive the most recommendations. It's going to, get the best results. So I would say that it doesn't, I haven't seen a huge difference in terms of, is AI better or human better? What I would say is the content excellent, right? So if it's a good combination of human uniqueness and quality writing, because a lot of the time there's a lot of people that aren't good writers, but they have good ideas. And so AI can help them write better content, but their ideas are what really drive the value. So I don't know if it's an either or. I think it's just, is the content excellent and unique? So
Okay.
AI can be a great way to help you put out better content. But if it doesn't have anything unique, if it's just the same stuff that AI was trained on and it's just a regurgitation of the same stuff that's already out there, then I don't know that it's going to move the needle a lot. I still think we're at the point where we need humans to be contributing their own thoughts and their own ideas into the content. I don't know if that answers
Awesome.
your question, but
No,
hopefully
that's
it
so
does.
great. Yeah, that's so awesome. I was literally going to say regurgitation loop, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a cat eating its own tail, AI
Right.
eating its own content and then pooping it back out. So it's a terrible way of putting it. Oh, who knows who's still on the call right now? Matt says, can you speak to the influence of existing or future negative content and what can be done to minimize it? I know for us, it's a lot about monitoring, engaging, finding ways to get that content authentically removed by fixing the problem. But Zach, you might have some online reputation, like on the SEO side of things, some ideas on that.
Yeah. So as far as negative content goes, I think it's part of the game. That's why reviews exist. I think people understand that. Sorry, I'm getting a weird echo. Are you guys hearing my echo? No? Okay, good. I think people expect to see a little bit of negative content. It makes it feel real. And I don't think it's really changed that much how to handle it. It's just address it publicly address it publicly, but try and handle it privately is what we've always said. So make sure that when somebody puts negative content out about you, that you address it and then offer to solve it in private. And that's really all you can do. And then put out good quality content beyond that. So drown negative content in positive content and good high value content. And that's really the best you can do, because people do want, they expect to see some not perfect reviews. It's almost it's a red flag if there's nothing but positive content about your business. But it's almost more valuable to have somebody that does have something not perfect to say about you, but then you solve it and you address it publicly in a really respectful way, and then handle it in a positive way behind the scenes. So
yeah, that's great. Thank you. We do real-time monitoring specifically for that. And if you're on social, you should be too. Your brand should constantly be monitoring for questions, comments, and feedback, and handling those and addressing them. We're actually having questions coming in, so please feel free to hang in there as we keep talking. And to answer the question, the webinar will be available. We'll post it on LinkedIn. It should be available on the LinkedIn Live page for a bit. We will also host the recording of this on our website, and you'll be able to get to it there. So keep an eye on that. Please follow us, both companies, on LinkedIn, where you will get updates on this as well. All right, so let's work our way down here. Melinda says, what does the research phase of creating content for AIO look like? How can we get insight into what questions people are asking? Because Zach's on the SEO side, we'll start with him, and then I know Jenna has thoughts on this because she writes a ton of content every week that's AIO centered.
Yeah. So first and foremost, there are plenty of tools out there that you can use to figure out what kind of questions people are asking. One of which is just AI itself. So if you're wondering what questions people are asking, that will help you, show up in recommendations more on the various AI platforms. The first place I would probably go is just to whatever AI platform you are trying to show up on and ask what questions are people asking for my specific niche, and what would be great ways to where should I be answering these questions, right? So I mean, that's kind of a simple answer. There are other keyword research tools out there that I trust, tools like Ahrefs, SEMrush, Ubersuggest. There's tons of tools out there that allow you to do high quality keyword research. But if you're talking about AIO and wanting to get recommended in AI tools, then the most obvious place I would probably go is just AI.
Anything to add, Jenna?
Yeah, I would say that's really good advice. I would even say too, on the social media manager side of things, people are engaging in your content, whether that's in comments or DMs. Sometimes I see comments about people asking questions about, say, home communities. And that kind of prompts me to answer some questions with, future content as well. So taking comments and people's engagement, and even DMs too, is also really helpful. People ask questions about certain things like, do you provide plumbing, or do you provide electrical services, or how far do you go, like via, home services wise, simple questions like that. Like, people just have, questions here and there. And I'm sure any social media manager knows if they check their DMs at least once a day, or their comments, they'll find questions there that people are asking. So that kind of pivots my content as well for what to answer in future content, essentially.
Yeah, I always say we start with target audiences and business goals. If you know what your audiences want and how to provide it to them, then that's the kind of content that you can create. We think about your areas of differentiation. You often know what your clients are asking for, or what the pain points are that you're solving. So turning those into questions and then creating the answers for those is a great way to go, whether you're in B2B or B2C. We know that there are, for instance, B2B companies, thought leader, or I should say, like decision makers, purchasers, going out and saying, what's the best solution for this problem? And that, you probably know a lot already about what your clients are asking, but monitoring, using these tools, and just paying attention is terrific. All right. Renee says, I was wondering if Gemini gives weight to those who advertise in Google AdWords. Zach? Definitely for you. It's a technical.
Yeah, I would like to say no, but knowing Google, I if I was going to give you the honest answer, I would bet yes. They told us for years that there was no crossover between paid search and organic, and then we found out later that they were weighting that. So, No, but probably.
It's the same with Meta. We know that if we're paid, and they have their own reason, they'll say like because organic reach is very low on social channels, so that's why we use paid campaigns, even just to build up visibility and reach. And they'll say, well, your paid content served more people, gave a better idea of who those audiences were and what was relevant, so we served more people with that. But we also have a feeling that, companies that play in the sandbox get better results.
Yeah.
All right. Another one for you, Zach. Is paid AI search seeing value yet?
I don't know that. I don't know the answer to that question, if I'm being completely honest. Not enough that it's caught my eye. So I would like to give you the answer, but I've honestly just not. I can't give you a straight answer there, and I don't want to give you a wrong answer and just guess or lie. So good question, but I can definitely look into that. That's one that I will now be researching.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for that, Matt. Well, if you want to add to the chat your first step that you're going to take, we would love to see it. We know we're approaching the end of the hour. I want to first, like I said, I want to thank Katie behind the scenes for all of her hard work, and Amanda on our team, who has coordinated a lot of this without even being in front of the camera, and she's spectacular on camera. I want to thank our special guest, Zach. First, Zach, again,
thank you.
You inspired all of this. Like your expertise in a shared meeting really touched off a whole realignment of what we're doing at WideFoc.us. So we're grateful for that, and we're grateful for your time today and your hard work putting all of this together. Jenna, always a rock star with the key relevant details. She wrote a kick-ass AI search lead magnet, which is also just a really good resource. If you want that, please reach out to one of us and we'll send it your way. And thanks everybody for spending an hour with us on this really important piece of the puzzle. If you have questions, if you have ideas for our next webinar, if you just want to chat, please reach out to us. We would love to hear from you. And yeah, thanks everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks everyone. Thank you, Eric and Jenna and Katie and Amanda. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Bye everybody.
Bye.